Might see a couple of New Englanders falling off the
Come on, gentlemen. I think we're ready to go.
I think so.
Good afternoon. On behalf of the Board of Trustees and the Woodberry Forest faculty, it's a great privilege to welcome you to our commencement address in honor of the class of 2016. This afternoon, we celebrate Woodberry's longstanding commitment to intellectual thoroughness as the foundation of our mission to educate boys so that together they might make great and lasting contributions to their communities, the nation, and the world. Here in front of the residence, the school's oldest building, we mark with pride the history and tradition of Woodberry Forest. We celebrate a rite of passage on the journey to manhood, and we look with anticipation and eagerness to a future that you will shape for yourselves and in service to others. Buttressed, we hope, with a moral foundation of character and integrity that we hope will be the core of your identity for the rest of your lives. Our commencement speaker is Michael Dirda. Mr. Dirda is a longtime book columnist for the Washington Post and is the author of a memoir, 5 collections of essays, and a biographical critical study, the recipient of numerous honors, including a Pulitzer Prize for Distinguished Criticism and the Edgar Allan Poe Award from the Mystery Writers of America. Mr. Dirda describes himself as a literary enthusiast. He told me not long ago that he finds great joy in unearthing a beautiful and recently published book and sharing it in his published reviews with avid readers who may never have known it existed. Rather than recite for you Mr. Dirda's biography found in your bulletin, I thought I would introduce him by sharing a brief poem by former poet laureate Billy Collins. In this poem, Mr. Collins pays homage to a metabolic bibliophile whose life has been shaped for the good by the printed word. The poem is also fitting for this commencement weekend, as Mr. Collins makes clear that we are the sum total of the choices we make in life. Several, like coming to Woodberry, which are definitive and transformative and utterly life-changing for boys and parents alike. Other choices, seemingly more trivial, nonetheless shape us and form us, and occasionally have us wondering who we would be, where we would be, and what we would be doing if we'd taken another route. I go back to the house for a book by Billy Collins. I turn around on the gravel and back to the house for a book, something to read at the doctor's office, of inquisition along a shelf. Another me that did not bother to go back to the house for a book heads out on his own, rolls down the driveway, and swings left toward town. A ghost in his ghost car, another knot in the string of time. A good 3 minutes ahead of me, a spacing that will now continue for the rest of my life. Sometimes I think I see him. A few people in front of me on a line or getting up from a table to leave the restaurant just before I do, slipping into his coat on the way out the door. But there is no catching him, no way to slow him down and put us back in sync, unless one day he decides to go back to the house for something. But I cannot imagine for the life of me what that might be. He is out there always before me, blazing my trail. Invisible scout, hound that pulls me along, shade I am doomed to follow. My perfect double, only bumped an inch into the future, and not nearly so well versed as I in the love poems of Ovid. I who went back to the house that fateful winter morning and got the book. Please join me in welcoming Michael Dirda to Woodberry Forest to present the commencement address for the class of 2016.
Thank you, Byron, for that generous introduction. Assuming that you could all hear me, and signal wildly if you can't. Let me begin with a sigh. It was almost exactly 50 years ago, half a century, that I received on a late spring afternoon, much like this one, my high school diploma. 1966 was again like today, a complicated time to be young, with a war escalating in Southeast Asia, protests, marches, and violence around the world, a general lack of confidence in national leaders, and widespread residual fears about the Soviet Union and the spread of communism. Nonetheless, there was an overall feeling of exhilaration. To quote Wordsworth, "Bliss was it in that dawn to be alive, but to be young was very heaven." The world seemed poised on the cusp of political and social change, as indeed it was. That in 2016 we have an African-American president, that women now run blue-chip corporations, that we have generally grown more humanely aware of the economic, racial, sexual, and religious differences among us. All these may be traced back to the often maligned 1960s. Today, to sound like a commencement speaker, you new graduates are entering a similarly volatile world. We live in a strange time when the news seems to alternate between the terrifying and the utterly trivial, between, on the one hand, accounts of barbaric violence, and on the other, the latest new app for the iPhone, between updates on rival presidential candidates who make Richard Nixon look like Pericles, and speculation about who will die next in a Game of Thrones. So what does truly matter now? It can be, at the least, a disorienting question. As Adam is reported to have remarked to Eve, "Madam, we live in a time of transition." The question for young people today is what kind of world will emerge from this period of transition? Just maybe there are still a few lessons to be learned from those of us who passed through the tumult of the Vietnam and civil rights era. Instead of suburban conformity and material success, my generation championed individuality and personal fulfillment. Our hero, Thoreau, told us that if a man does not keep pace with his companions, perhaps it is because he hears a different drummer. Let him step to that music which he hears, however measured or far away. The Greeks express this thought even more concisely. Become who you are. Become who you are. All too often, this means disappointing one's family, teachers, and others who care about us. Let me consequently urge that you do so only after first exercising due diligence. After all, the old folks bring to bear the wisdom of experience, of age, and should be honored for wanting the best for you. And yet, just imagine how dull life and the world would be if we always followed the wishes of our mothers and fathers. Please don't play it too safe when you're young. You have lots of time to recover from mistakes, and youth should be a time for adventure, not for settling in and opting for security. Nobody likes a young fogey. This is especially true when thinking about how you might want to spend your working life. An unfulfilled vocation, said the French novelist Balzac, drains the color from a man's entire existence. If in your deepest heart you desperately yearn to become a doctor or lawyer or even a hedge fund broker, go for it. Don't let your parents talk you into becoming a poet, painter, or rock musician. They mean well, but you must follow your own bliss, though I would definitely discourage pursuing a career in literary journalism. Above all, bear in mind the iron law of karma. If you step aside from a moment of possibility, you will be forever haunted by its unrealized specter. That said, each of you will nonetheless be faced with having to earn a living. Within a few years, you will have your own bills to pay for food and lodging, for car, for life insurance, possibly for childcare, and you will need a job. Given this dire prospect, you may again find yourself tempted to follow a safe, established path, to be, as they say, practical. In college, you might major in business or finance, then go on to acquire an advanced degree or MBA, and eventually land a position at some white shoe law firm or upscale bank or medical practice. All fine and dandy, maybe. Then again, maybe not. Perhaps 30 years from now, some evening as you down your third martini at the country club, you'll realize that you have it all, as the world deems success, and that it means next to nothing to you, and that you'd really much rather be the young groundskeeper happily whistling as he waters the 18th hole instead of a respected and slightly flabby clubman slowly getting drunk and peering out at the now empty fairways as the darkness falls. No doubt I exaggerate a bit. It's been known to happen. But I like what the French writer about China, Simon Leys, once said. Whoever feels in the end that he had a successful life must not have been aiming very high in the first instance. I urge you to aim high. In the words of your headmaster, Byron Hulsey, seek out a moral purpose for your life, a noble cause that will outlast you, and one to which you can surrender yourself in service to something bigger than you'll ever be. And don't be obsessed by grades, outcomes, bottom lines. G.K. Chesterton paradoxically, but rightly pointed out that if a thing is worth doing, it's worth doing badly. I'd go further and reiterate that you really should make lots of mistakes. In the words of Cardinal Newman, it is a rule of God's providence that we succeed by failure. You'll never know what you can do until you try to do too much. And maybe you'll surprise yourself. At least some of you here have seen the film, the Academy Award-winning film, Chariots of Fire. It's mainly about two runners who compete in the 1924 Olympics in Paris. Both are outsiders. One, Harold Abrahams, is a Jew. The other, Eric Liddell, is a devout Scot and a future missionary. About a quarter of the way into the film, Abrahams goes to see Liddell run for the first time. As the 400-meter race begins, a competitor trips Liddell, and the young Scot falls to the ground while the other runners sweep past. Here is the good part. A voiceover reflecting Liddell's thoughts as he sprawled there flat on the ground echoes some words he had spoken earlier in the film. And where does the power come from to see the race to the end? From within. At which point, Liddell rises from the ground and starts to run. I still choke up when I think of that moment. And he runs faster and faster. As he approaches the other runners, Abrahams in the stands slowly rises to his feet in utter disbelief. It seems impossible. With superhuman effort, Liddell surges ahead and breaks through the tape to win the race. Let me quote my old friend Thoreau again. If one advances confidently in the direction of his dreams and endeavors to live the life which he has imagined, he will meet with a success unexpected in common hours. Common hours? You graduates of Woodberry Forest have enjoyed distinctly uncommon hours. You have been given a deep and solid foundation for whatever you choose to do in later life, a firm grounding in the ideals of liberal education and good sportsmanship, a knowledge of the never-to-be-despised social graces, and a recognition that honor, character, and morality aren't outmoded Victorian virtues. They are fundamental to a fulfilling and fulfilled life. Yes, you should become who you are, but who you are has already been formed, at least in part, by your years at Woodberry Forest. Since this is a commencement talk, it is probably de rigueur that I offer some high-minded advice to the graduates. Without sounding too preachy, here are 10 suggestions or recommendations for the coming years. Many of them are drawn from my reading, something I have done a lot of in my career as a book reviewer and essayist. Number 1, my late friend, the novelist James Salter, once wrote, "There comes a time when you realize that everything is a dream, and only those things preserved in writing have any possibility of being real. Keep some kind of record of your life. It might be a journal or a commonplace book in which you record favorite passages from your reading, or even a blog, though I think it best that you write for your eyes only. By reflecting on your day's thoughts and activities, you will live more intensely in the here and now, but also discover in later years a peculiar sweetness and comfort in rereading those pages. Number 2, don't compare yourself to other people. That's always a losing game. As the novelist Henry James said, remember that every life is a special problem, which is not yours but another's, and content yourself with the terrible algebra of your own. Learn to welcome criticism, however painful. Whatever the world finds idiosyncratic or objectionable or uncomfortable in you or your work should almost always be cultivated further. It is what makes you, you. The 19th century sociologist, for want of a better term, Tocqueville, pointed out with typical Gallic insight that we succeed in enterprises which demand the positive qualities we possess, but we excel in those which can also make use of our defects. Number 3, there is no satisfaction in life comparable to doing good work, to putting forth your best. Pleasure is temporary, success is fleeting, but the serenity and self-assurance that competence will bring you is a constant. The world and your troubles will drop away when you find yourself wholly absorbed in your studies or your job. Instead of worrying about the past or future, you will live in the now. Our main business, said Thomas Carlyle, is not to see what lies dimly at a distance, but to do what lies clearly at hand. Number 4, be sure to have at least one bookcase wherever you live and fill it with books. Digital texts on e-readers are all well and good, but they can never be a presence in your life in the way that a printed book can. Each day you can glance at your shelves and see, metaphorically, where you have been, where you are going. And think, too, of only the most obvious benefits of a reading life. Greater sympathy and understanding of those different from yourself, connection with some of the great minds of the past, the chance to reflect on religion, civic duty, and other important issues of life, command of written and oral expression, but most of all, there's aesthetic bliss, the love of books for their own selves. Just remember to read widely, to explore the great works of earlier eras and other cultures, not just the bestsellers of the moment. The classics, observe the Italian fabulist Italo Calvino, are books which upon reading we find even fresher, more unexpected, and more marvelous than we had thought from hearing about them. Number 5, meet your deadlines. In other words, keep your promises, hand in your work on time, and make sure it's neat. Don't disappoint those who are counting on you. Remember that punctuality is the way that kings show their courtesy and thoughtfulness. In particular, don't put off those annual medical and dental checkups. Neglected teeth alone will bring you heartache and vast expense in later years. Not least, let me confide a great truth taught to me by my father. Every 15-minute job takes at least an hour. Number 6, Ralph Waldo Emerson once recorded that a lady friend told him that feeling well-dressed gives a sense of inward tranquility that religion is powerless to bestow. So keep up appearances, be courteous and polite, look your best. I was once asked which character in fiction I would most like to be, and no fool I answered, Bond, James Bond. The equally sartorially correct and polite, invariably polite, Mr. Darcy of Pride and Prejudice might be my second choice, if only because I, like so many others, am in love with Elizabeth Bennet. So be sharp, stay cool, but unlike Mr. Darcy, don't take yourself too seriously. If you possibly can, keep or develop a sense of humor. This isn't always easy. People can pretend to be serious, said the playwright Sasha Guitry, but they can't pretend to be witty. We're still, as Emerson also observed, you'll find this out. After 30, a man wakes up sad every morning. Number 7, remember that many of the things you feel are just so important probably don't matter all that much. The writer Henri de Montaiglon noted that if you look back at history, you find that the world has been laid waste to ensure the triumph of conceptions that are now as dead as the men who died for them. Keep some perspective. That worldly philosopher, Sophia Loren, shrewdly advised, never cry over anything that won't cry over you. And don't fetishize whatever small successes might come your way. I like Nathaniel Hawthorne's profound remark. It is a good lesson for a man to step outside the narrow circle in which his claims are recognized and to find out how utterly devoid of significance beyond that circle is all that he achieves, all he aims at. Whatever your successes or failures, most of the world will simply echo the sentiments of Robert Mitchum. Baby, I don't care. Let me give you a personal example. My mother, who is still with us, has a peasant, or perhaps Taoist, mentality that believes in the balance of the universe. If something especially good happens to you or a member of your family, that means something bad will soon occur to balance it out, and vice versa. 20 or so years ago, I called my mother to tell her that I had won the Pulitzer Prize. There was a long pause on the phone, and then she said, "Well, guess there's no point in going to bingo tonight." Number 8, accept that no matter how sure you feel about something, you just might be wrong. Spinoza wrote, "I have labored carefully when faced with human actions not to mock, not to lament, not to execrate, but to understand." I used to keep a quotation from Chekhov pinned above my desk at the Washington Post Book World. One must be a god to be able to tell successes from failures without making a mistake. 9, prepare for setbacks. Be flexible, resist despair. Given that even the luckiest life will be full of trouble and disappointments, how should you deal with these? In the immortal words of the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, don't panic. Stoic Marcus Aurelius recommended keeping what he called an interior citadel, a mental space into which you can retreat from the world's slings and arrows. Albert Camus suggested that one could surmount setbacks and injuries by regarding them with scorn or disdain. While his older contemporary, the writer and adventurer André Malraux, felt that all of us needed to reduce our propensity for histrionics to a minimum. Overreacting is simply a form of overacting. 10, the specific virtue of the hero is courage. But the second greatest virtue is doggedness, the willingness to put forth your best effort no matter what the task, even when exhausted. As Lytton Strachey wrote of Florence Nightingale, the founder of modern nursing, it was not by gentle sweetness and womanly self-abnegation that she had brought order out of chaos. It was by strict method, by stern discipline, by rigid attention to detail, by ceaseless labor, by the fixed determination of an indomitable will. An odd interviewer once exclaimed to the jazz saxophonist Charlie Parker, "You do amazing things on the saxophone, Mr. Parker." The musician replied, "I don't know about amazing. I practiced for 15 hours a day for quite a few years." Parker might have been inspired by Abraham Lincoln's great maxim, "I will prepare myself and my chance will come." At the same time, never rest easy on past accomplishments, but instead keep challenging yourself. When I was in high school, my best friend Tom, a genuine math genius, often received mediocre grades in geometry or algebra because he seldom bothered to do his homework. I asked him why, and he gave this magnificent answer: "If you can do it, why do it?" Well, that's 10 pieces of advice, and a speaker should always know when to stop. Still, I want to end where I began, and that is with real envy for all of you who are just starting adult life today. Enjoy yourself. As Benjamin Jowett, the great classicist, once asked rhetorically, "We have sought truth and sometimes found it, but have we had any fun?" Do have fun. Let me close with one final quotation, a somewhat long one from Joseph Conrad. The adults in the audience will, I think, confirm its essential, if somber, truth. In the story Youth, the aging sailor Marlowe recalls his maiden sea voyage to a group of old friends. Then he turns to them. "But you here, you all had something out of life, money, love, whatever one gets on shore, and tell me, wasn't that the best time, that time when we were young at sea, young and had nothing, on the sea that gives nothing except hard knocks and sometimes a chance to feel your strength, that only which you all regret?" And we all nodded at him, the man of finance, the man of accounts, the man of law. We all nodded at him over the polished table that like a still sheet of brown water reflected our faces, lined, wrinkled. Our faces marked by toil, by deceptions, by success, by love. Our weary eyes looking still, looking always, looking anxiously for something out of life that while it is expected is already gone, has passed unseen, in a sigh, in a flash, together with the youth, with the strength, with the romance of illusions. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Michael, for those inspiring remarks. It's impressive that you would receive a standing ovation when everyone is as warm as we are. Congratulations to you, and thank you very, very much for being with us. I'm grateful that he would be with us on such a special occasion and share such a meaningful message. This marks the close of the commencement address. Our graduates and their guests are now invited to dinner in the dining room in Keenan Hall down the hill. After dinner, we will continue our celebration at 7:30 p.m. here in front of the residence with our annual Amici Night Awards convocation. Have a good evening. Thank you. That was just lovely. I appreciate it so much. Michael, that was excellent.
Everyone, welcome. Amici Night at last. Friends and family, students and staff, on behalf of the headmaster, the Board of Trustees, welcome to the second event in Friday's share of the commencement weekend, which we call Amici Night. Amici Night's an event particular to Woodberry Forest, and briefly put, it's a festive celebration of the accomplishments of this graduating class with prizes and some music and good fellowship. Its origin goes back to 1954, when then headmaster Joe Mercer and his wife Virginia decided to stop holding a banquet and a final dance the night before graduation exercises. That would have been quite an evening. And instead created a whole new celebration for the graduating sixth form. They settled on Amici Night as its name. It was an immediate success and remained as a part of the final weekend ever since. It's in the spirit of that first Amici Night that we gather here tonight. Woodberry is special in many ways, and one of the ways in which it is special is in the way that it styles its graduation weekend. We actually have 4 separate events, each with its own message, each expecting a little different kind of response from each of us. First, the commencement address. Time to think, time to listen to some ideas, and this year delivered with such skill and I think a particularly intriguing message from Michael Dirda. The second act of this weekend is this ceremony, a celebration of the members of the sixth form and the way they've met challenges and grown as a result. Boarding school education, those challenges come in every direction, and they start on the first day that you're dropped off. First is the heat, in which when you have to move in, which is then mirrored in the heat in which you move out. Weekends that start at 11 a.m. and end at 5:30 on Sunday. The heat of C dorm in September and again later in May. That pesky research paper that you had such great plans and laid out all of that planning for, and you were ahead of schedule a couple of weeks ago, but somehow it dropped out of your memory, and now you're scrambling to complete it in time. And then there's that roommate that you got to live with, whose mess may be hard to take, but whose stories are worth it all, and who can talk with you at night, and whose stories then have sealed the deal on why being here and being a part of this brotherhood is so special. Of course, there are other challenges. Sleep. Learning to make sleep a friend and not an enemy is a long-term investment in learning. And then there's so much more. So Act 3 will be tomorrow morning. That's the baccalaureate service in St. Andrew's Chapel, a call for you to remember your duty to things sacred, and a reminder that you're forever tied to a transformative and liberating power that is greater than you. And then at about 10:30 tomorrow morning, the final act begins here in front of the residence, After we're all seated and some important early business is finished, we'll see each member of the class come forward to receive that piece of paper that represents their growth and achievement during their time with us. Parents and teachers and members of the class, as we sit there, memories will probably come to us, private thoughts, thoughts that are shared about friends who have been with us, to the days that you thought you couldn't get everything done, to your worry about disappointing somebody. But those thoughts will change when the diploma comes in your hand and you shake Dr. Hulsey's and Mr. Boney's hands. And at that point, the thought is simply this: you got through. You did it. And the power of the knowledge that you have accomplished this will forever change you. Social psychologists tell us of the vital importance ascribed to rights in helping children move from adolescence to adulthood. Some have said that we're losing many of our traditional rites of passage, and that's been particularly hard on boys. But that's not the case here at Woodberry. Appropriate and challenging rites of passage are here in abundance, and you will leave us stronger as a result of having passed through. Parents, be ready to welcome your son home as a different person, older, more experienced, ready to take up a role that reflects his growth and maturity that this experience has demanded. At the end of the evening, we can all depart this place feeling justifiably proud of both the fine work that each of the members of the class has done and the stronger person they've become. At this point, I need to ask Ford Beasley to come forward, the senior prefect of the class of 2016, and help me with the distribution of awards. All set? The Fir Tree Book Award is presented to the student who has made a particularly significant contribution to the Fir Tree, our school's yearbook, Mr. Stephen Dowell. Faculty advisor to the Fir Tree will present the award to Arthur Richmond Forsyth Adams of Mountain Brook, Alabama, who will attend Sewanee, the University of the South. The Oracle Award is given to the student who provided the greatest technical skill and constant commitment to the publishing of the Oracle, student newspaper here at Woodberry. This year, it was a transformative year for the Oracle, and perhaps this presentation is particularly meaningful. Mr. Greg Goulden, advisor to the Oracle, will present the award to Caleb Tolliver Rogers of Charlottesville, Virginia, who will attend the College of William and Mary. The Talon Award is given in recognition of outstanding leadership by a member of the school's literary magazine staff. Dr. Karen Broadus, faculty advisor to the Talon, presents this year's award to David Earl Willis of Centennial, Colorado, who will attend the University of Virginia. The Admissions Service Cup is awarded annually to the student who's made the most significant contribution to the admissions program during its years at Woodberry Forest. Mr. Scott Schamberger, Assistant Headmaster for Admissions and College Counseling, will present this year's award to Daniel Reynolds Jaffet, III of Brenham, Texas, who will attend Davidson College. The Clarence W. Chambers Drama Award honors a former master at the school who was involved in the drama program for over 30 years. Mr. Brent Surveys, chair of the Fine Arts Department, will present the award to Jared Lucas O'Neill Talwitz of Barbersville, Virginia, who will attend the University of Southern California. The Drama Directors Award goes to a student for his overall contributions to theater at Woodberry. Mr. Surveys will present the award to David Earl Willis. The Copen Family Cup was established by Mr. and Mrs. Noel P. Copen and Mark B. Copen, class of 1991. The award recognizes the most valuable member of the Woodberry Forest School forensics team. Mr. Ray Smith, forensics team advisor, will present the Copen Cup to Richard Bradley Madden of Hyattsville, Maryland, who will attend Rhodes College. The Alan A. Goodwin Award for Choral Music is presented to a member of the senior class who has shown enthusiasm and has demonstrated leadership in the area of choral music. The award is given by Mrs. Goodwin in memory of her husband, graduate of the class of 1918, who was active in the choir during his years at Woodberry Forest. Mr. Wallace Hornady, our Director of Choral Music, will present this year's award to Evan Grayson Backer of Richmond, Virginia, who will attend the University of Virginia. The William Vash Shepard Memorial Medal recognizes a senior who's made a unique contribution to our instrumental music program. The award is a memorial to William Vash Shepard, class of 1929, and was established by Mrs. Shepard in 1989. Mr. Tim Stakem, Director of Instrumental Music, will present the award to Jordan Heath Silberman of Louisa, Virginia, who will attend the University of Mary Washington. The T. Warren Parker Strings Music Award is given to a member of the sixth form who for several years has been an active, enthusiastic, and accomplished participant in the school's strings program. The award honors Thomas Warren Parker, class of '03, whose abiding love for music was encouraged and broadened during his 4 years at Woodberry. Ms. Lisa Wright, Director of Strings, will present this year's award to Robert Frederick K. III of Glen Ridge, New Jersey, who will attend Miami University, Oxford. The Violet Niles Walker Visual Arts Award is given each year in memory of Mrs. Joseph Walker, who for many years lived in the residence and promoted the arts at Woodberry Forest. This award honors excellence in the visual arts. Mr. Kelly Lonergan, Chair of the Art Department, will present this year's award to Spencer Teal Goodwin of Orange, Virginia, who will attend Virginia Polytechnic Institute and State University. The Outdoor Leadership Award goes to a student who has made a considerable contribution to the outdoor education program. Mr. Nolan Lavoie, Director of Outdoor Education, presents this year's award to Justin Drury Mitchell of Appomattox, Virginia, who will attend the Georgia Institute of Technology. The Chaplain's Award goes to that member of the student body who has contributed most unselfishly of his time and energy to the Chaplain program and to the spiritual life of the school. Dr. David Smith will present this year's award to Caleb Tolliver Rogers. The Robert F. Vasquez Spanish Award is presented to the school's most outstanding Spanish student. Mr. Drew Collier, Spanish instructor, will present the Award for Excellence in Spanish to Daniel Reynolds Jaffet III. The Harry G. Bowman Latin Medal was established by Mr. Bowman's associates as a tribute to the former head of our Latin department who retired in 1965 after 18 years on the Woodberry Forest faculty. Mr. Donald Brewster, Foreign Language Department Chair, will present this year's award to Darby Mills Hennigan of Atlanta, Georgia, who will attend Lehigh University. The Mortimer A. Turner Memorial Medal was endowed by the late Mr. and Mrs. Arthur Jones of Somerset. The award is made in memory of Mrs. Jones' father, M.A. Turner, who for 22 years was a French and German teacher at Woodberry, and on whose strength rested much of the success of Woodberry Forest in its earlier days. Mr. Paul Huber, French instructor and senior master, will present this year's award to Adrian H.C. Chong of Hong Kong, China, who will attend New York University. The Leland Hume Lord Memorial Medal was founded by the late head of our mathematics department and Mrs. W.L. Lord, and is given in memory of their son Leland, who was killed in March of 1952. This medal is awarded for excellence in mathematics and replaced a school medal, which Leland won in his sixth form year. Dr. David McCrae, Math Department Chair, will present this year's award to Byungju Park of Ulsan, South Korea, who will attend the University of Virginia. The William J. Haynes Memorial Medal was founded by his friend and schoolmate Graham Cameron of Gordonsville, Virginia. William Haynes lost his life by drowning as a result of an accident on the Rapidan River, May 3, 1929. Graham Cameron was involved in the same accident, narrowly escaped a similar fate. It was awarded for the first time in June of 1930. This award recognizes the most outstanding sixth form science student. Mr. Greg Jacobs, Science Department Chair, will present the award to Wyatt Sanford Beasley V of Richmond, Virginia, who will attend the University of Virginia. The Heinz R. Pagels Jr. Physics Memorial Award is given to the student who has demonstrated outstanding achievement in physics. Heinz R. Pagels Jr., class of '56, lost his life in a mountain climbing accident in Colorado in 1988. He was an outstanding physicist and executive director of the New York Academy of Science. A classmate who wishes to remain anonymous established the award in 1989. Mr. Greg Jacobs will present this year's award to Justin Drury Mitchell. The Alan Barnett Reading Award is presented to a member of the sixth form who embodies the spirit of independent scholarship and intellectual curiosity through his enthusiastic, sustained reading outside the assigned curriculum. Mr. Ted Blaine, English Department Chair, will present the Alan Barnett Reading Award to Darby Mills Hennigan. The English Award is presented annually to the outstanding student of English and recognizes scholarship, effectiveness in writing, and sensitivity to literature. Mr. Ted Blaine will present this year's award to David Earl Williams. I'm sorry, David Earl Willis, my goodness. I'm sorry. Sometimes the old eyes don't work as well as they used to. The Robert F. Williams Memorial Medal recognizes a senior who has most distinguished himself in English and creative writing. Mr. Ted Blaine will present the medal to David Pierce Williams of Columbia, South Carolina, who will attend Washington and Lee University. The Nathaniel A. Job Award for History and Government was established by Gail M. Glenn and her grandsons Jace, class of 2000, and William, class of 2006, in honor of Nat Job, a member of Woodberry's History Department for 32 years. The award recognizes a sixth former for his exceptional achievement in scholarship in the areas of history or government. Dr. Fred Jordan, History Department Chair, will present the Nathaniel A. Job Award for History and Government to James Garnett Reed, Jr. of Mystic, Connecticut, who will attend the University of Virginia. The James Madison Prize for Excellence in the Study of the American Constitution and Government. Mr. and Mrs. Joe Grills, grandparents of Tyler Sutton Grills, class of 2012, generously gave the James Madison Prize for Excellence in the Study of the American Constitution and Government in recognition of the significance of this document to the establishment of the American society. The James Madison Prize for Excellence in the Study of American Constitution and Government is given to the senior who, either through classroom work or practical experience, demonstrates excellence in the study of the American Constitution and Government. Dr. Fred Jordan will present the James Madison Prize for Excellence in the Study of American Constitution and Government to Wyatt Sanford Beasley. The Thomas Jefferson chapter of the Sons of the American Revolution honors a member of the sixth form with its Outstanding Citizenship Award. Mr. Steve Stansel, a faculty member in the History Department who is a member of the Sons of the American Revolution, will present this year's award to Edwin Rand Somperak of Fredericksburg, Virginia, who will attend the University of Virginia. I now invite Lieutenant Colonel Patrick Gary, a 1988 graduate of West Point, currently serving in the Judge Advocate General Corps in Washington, D.C., to come forward for a special presentation.
Thank you, Mr. Culbertson. I appreciate it. Thanks for allowing me to come and participate in this great ceremony on your beautiful campus. I am Lieutenant Colonel Pat Gary with the Judge Advocate General's Corps. Specifically, I'm assigned to the U.S. Army Legal Services Agency in Washington, D.C. But tonight, I'm here on behalf of the United States Military Academy at West Point, specifically their admissions department. The U.S. Military Academy at West Point is our nation's premier leader development institution. Its mission is to develop leaders of character committed to the values of duty, honor, country, and prepared for a career of professional excellence and service to the nation as an officer in the United States Army. Cadets at West Point receive a scholarship which includes education and training covering tuition, room, board, medical care, as well as a monthly stipend. During the four-year curriculum, each cadet will complete a demanding academic, physical, character, and leader development program in a moral, ethical environment embodied by the West Point Honor Code. A cadet will not lie, cheat, steal, or tolerate those who do. Upon graduation, cadets are awarded a Bachelor of Science degree and are commissioned as second lieutenants in the United States Army. Would Ryan Grady please come forward? Ryan, to be selected for admission to West Point is a tremendous accomplishment. We salute you and recognize the outstanding support and encouragement provided by your school's faculty, counselors, coaches, classmates, and especially your parents. Ryan Grady, on behalf of the Superintendent of the United States Military Academy, Lieutenant General Robert L. Caslin, Jr., I am pleased to present you with your appointment to the United States Military Academy. Congratulations. Ryan will enter the class of 2020, and in about a month from now, on June 27th, he'll begin his cadet basic training. So Ryan, good luck, and beat Navy.
Thank you. The William Watkins Memorial Award is awarded to the member of the graduating class who has earned acceptance to and will attend a military service academy or was enlisted in the United States Armed Forces. The award is given to the individual who exemplifies Lieutenant Colonel Watkins' legacy of courage, citizenship, and sacrifice. Bill Watkins, Woodberry class of 1984, was killed while serving his country in Operation Iraqi Freedom in April of 2003. Members of the class of 1984 created this award as a legacy to their classmate. Headmaster Byron Hulsey, along with Barksdale Watkins, Woodberry class of 1992 and brother of Bill, will present the award to Ryan Armistead Grady III of Manchester, Massachusetts, who will attend the United States Military Academy. I now ask Brian Hemming to come forward for the athletic awards.
We will keep this thing moving right along. Some of the awards that I do not announce tonight were presented at our Monday night assembly to underclassmen. The first award, Mr. Ben Hale will present the MVP award in cross country to Robert Ray Singleton II of Gloucester, Virginia, who will attend Sewanee, the University of the South. Mr. Hale will present the J.R. Flowerrree Award to David Nathaniel Gussler of Ashland, Kentucky, who will attend Purdue University. Mr. Leonard B. Mills will present the Hamish J. McDougall MVP Award in Soccer to Edwin Latimer Douglas of Augusta, Georgia, who will attend the University of South Carolina. Mr. Mills will present the Harold I. Donnelly Soccer Award to Byungju Park. Mr. David R. Budlong will present the MVP Award in Wrestling to Andrew Ryan Lounsbury Holmes of Cleveland, Ohio, who will attend American University. Mr. John C. Reimers will present the MVP Award in Squash to William Taslow Von Hazel of Orange, Virginia, who will attend Rhodes College. Mr. Gregory Goulden will present the MVP Award in Swimming to Nicholas Patrick Schweitzer of Palmyra, Virginia, who will attend the University of Virginia. Mr. Curtis A. Phillips will present the Howard P. Conway Most Valuable Indoor Track Award and the Most Valuable Award in Spring Track to Michael Anthony Davenport of Winston-Salem, North Carolina, who will attend Virginia Tech. Mr. Phillips will present the Arthur E. Sims Track Trophy to Jacqueline Taylor Robertson Claiborne of Westcliff, South Africa, who will attend the University of Virginia. Mr. Phillips will present the John Scott Walker Jr. Track Prize to Ryan Armstead Grady III. Mr. Hale will present the Daniel R. Vining Jr. Track Award to Robert Ray Singleton II. Mr. Christopher V. Holmes will present the Henry M. Armfield MVP Award in Baseball to Patrick James McDonald of Marietta, Georgia, who will attend the University of Notre Dame. Mr. Andrew M. Collier will present the Palmer Bradley MVP Award in Tennis to William Taslow Von Hassel. Mr. H. Spotswood Robbins will present the Robert F. Gillespie MVP Award in Lacrosse to Holden Davis Faulkner of Richmond, Virginia, who will attend the University of Virginia. Mr. Marcus A. Hogan will present the William H. White Golf Trophy to Peter Hallwell Nade of Easton, Maryland, who will attend the University of Maryland, College Park. Mr. Nolan R. Lavoie will present the Climbing Award to Spencer Andrews of Nassau, Bahamas, who will attend the Southern Methodist University. Mr. Lavoie will present the Mountain Biking Award to Justin Drury Mitchell. Mr. Alexander will present the Master of Sports Awards to the sixth formers who have earned at least 3 varsity letters in their senior year. As I call your name, please come forward and line up. Please hold your applause until all the names are read. We've got a few. Jackson Thomas Elliott Case of Springfield, Virginia, who will attend Virginia Military Institute. Jacqueline Taylor Robertson Claiborne. Owen Williams Dankworth of Great Falls, Virginia, who will attend Sewanee, the University of the South. Michael Anthony Davenport. Ryan Armstead Grady III. Junlin Gua of Shenzhen, China, who will attend the University of California, Berkeley. David Nathaniel Gussler. Lawrence McCracken Hereford of Mountain Brook, Alabama, who will attend the University of Alabama. Richard Lewis Humble of Ball Harbor, Florida, who will attend Auburn University. Daniel Reynolds Jaffet III. James Christian King Jr. of Greensboro, North Carolina, who will attend the University of North Carolina, Charlotte. Byungju Park. Zachary Thomas Roderick of Fredericksburg, Virginia, who will attend Campbell University. John Alman Sarai of Winston-Salem, North Carolina, who will attend Clemson University. Robert Ray Singleton II. Edwin Rand Sompriak Jr. James Greer Welsh III of Winston-Salem, North Carolina, who will attend Wofford College. Clark Nelson Yarbrough of Rumson, New Jersey, who will attend Stanford University. The Athletic Director's Award is given to the student in the sixth form who best represents the Woodberry ideals of participation, good sportsmanship, and the love of excellence. This year's recipient is Ryan Armstead Grady III.
It's a great privilege to introduce Rob and Lindsay Carter, parents of graduating senior Sam Carter. Even though they had not served previously on a parent fundraising committee, Rob and Lindsay embraced the opportunity to serve as chairs of the Senior Parent Gift Committee this year. The good news that they are about to share is a great tribute to their enthusiasm, persistence, and unbroken commitment to the cause. And I'm very happy to invite Rob to come forward tonight to present the gift.
Boy, I'm humbled to be here to celebrate with y'all all those awards. It's just fantastic. And I'm just absolutely happy to be here to let you know that what y'all are doing, the friend you have, you'll have forever. So don't let go of that. I'm here on behalf of the Sixth Form Parents Committee. I also wanted to recognize the hard work and generosity of Sixth Form parents and grandparents and extend our sincere thanks for your support of the class of 2016 Sixth Form Parents and Grandparents Gift. Lindsay and I would first like to acknowledge the tireless work of the volunteers who served on this year's committee, and I ask you to stand when I call your name. Andrew and Jane Bishop, Jim and Louise Clement, Trent and Cecile Jones, Ted and Kimberly Yarbrough. I'd also like to ask Juliana Bush and Catherine Wharton to stand as they have tirelessly worked on a lot of heavy lifting behind the scenes. I hope you will all join me in offering them our thanks. Last fall, our committee gathered to discuss the different gift options and the goals for the senior parents and grandparents gift. After much discussion and a review of the gift options, we agreed to pursue 3 key initiatives: a capital gift, an endowed gift, and the goal of reaching 100% parent participation. The capital gift was to raise funds needed to name the class of 2016 private dining room, a beautifully appointed space in one of the most popular and highly trafficked spots on campus, the dining hall. Since the new dining hall would come into use in the boys' 6th form year, after 116 years of meals previously served in Reynolds family dining room, the naming of the private dining room for the class of 2016 felt especially fitting. The endowed gift fund was for faculty housing to be established as a gift in gratitude for those faculty members who devote untold time and energy to the boys in their care. It was the committee's goal to support and strengthen this community by focusing on raising funds designated for faculty housing and renovation and updates. The third, and most importantly, goal was to achieve 100% parent participation for the 4th year in a row. That collective and unanimous show of support and appreciation for the opportunity that Woodberry has provided our boys is incredibly meaningful. Our financial goal was to raise $500,000, and I'm thrilled to announce that with your help, those goals have been achieved. 100% of the parents participated, whereby every family shared in the gift that we leave for our boys. 52 grandparents contributed just over $30,000 in total. The grand dollar raised was $565,638. It is a new senior parent gift record, exceeding the past fundraising record of $546,000 raised in 2005 and 2010. Each of you responded to this call to honor your son and grandson, and you responded generously. As we were doing this, it became very apparent to us that really the gift was the gift that Woodberry was giving our sons. The gift of coming home with our sons coming home with a sense of understanding how to take ownership of their life, perseverance, and everlasting friendship. This afternoon, parents, grandparents, and members of the class of 2016 joined together to officially dedicate the gift. A plaque listing the names of every graduating member of the class of 2016 will hang outside the private dining room for the lifespan of the building. Graduating sixth formers, we hope that you will return to campus in the future and you will take great pride in visiting the lobby, finding your name on the plaque and celebrating the mark that you left for the school. So boys, I'd like you all to stand up, each and every one of you. Look around you. First of all, that's 100%. That's 100%. And every time that Woodberry asks for you guys to do something in the future, make a commitment to be 100%. Thank you. You can sit down. Serving others and being a contributor to your society and community are values espoused in the Woodberry mission. They are also guiding principles that will serve you well in every phase of your life. In closing, I would like to thank the members of the committee for their tremendous work throughout the year. This gift would not have been made possible without your phone calls, emails, handwritten notes, and endless enthusiasm. We could not have done this without you. On behalf of all the senior parents and grandparents, I present Woodberry with these gifts. Thank you.
Thank you to Rob and all of our parents and grandparents who gave so generously to this important gift. I'm now honored to introduce Senior Prefect Ford Beasley from Richmond, Virginia. You may know that at Woodberry Forest, the Senior Prefect enjoys the highest honor and bears the greatest burden of any boy in the school. And the partnership that the headmaster and the Senior Prefect enjoy is critical to the well-being of the school and our community. As a student, Ford has mastered the humanities and the sciences in every way, winning the U.S. History and Chemistry Awards last year, the Science Award this year, and participating on our school's highly competitive research physics team. He continues to develop his skills as a guitarist, has played 2 varsity sports, and I noted just a couple
contribution to the Amici Fund, which will support everything from academics to faculty support to financial aid. We had over 92% participation. Hopefully we will get that up to 100 by tomorrow morning. And I'm proud of the legacy we will leave. Thank you to my advisor, Mr. Blaine, for putting up with my middle school sense of humor at the dinner table and for always being there for me. Junior year, after I received a string of demerits, I remember Mr. Blaine came into my room with a very concerned look on his face to warn me about the slippery slope I was on. He said, "I just don't want you to end up face down in a ditch with an empty bottle of mouthwash in your hand." Talk about getting scared straight. Finally, thank you to my family for giving me the chance to come here and always supporting me. I know that hasn't always been easy. Freshman year, my goal was to either be on Jackass or in the X Games. Don't worry, Mom, that hasn't changed. What I have noticed, however, is that change actually has been a major theme of my time here at Woodberry. Sophomore year, I came to Woodberry with no idea what I was interested in academically, what my real passions were, and having given little thought to my life after high school. 3 years and 30 pounds later, thanks to the fir tree, I can say that I've changed in many ways I never imagined. Through my research physics class with Mr. Bourne, I became interested in science and technology. With the help of my good friends Garnet Reed and Graham Goldstein, I discovered a passion for playing the guitar and music. Through Woodberry, I found my future home for the next 4 years. But Woodberry has been so much more than a means to an end. Through Woodberry, I've had amazing experiences with lifelong friends, and that is what I value most about my time here. The theme of change during my time here at Woodberry extends beyond what I've noticed internally. Since the class of 2016 came to Woodberry, we have witnessed a major shift in the campus physically. While a few of us never got to experience the magic of air-conditioned dorms, we did get to take full advantage of 2 brand new buildings, a new dining hall, and a new headmaster. We watched as the Great Wall was erected around the Fir Tree and Tiger Square, and as pep rallies found a new home. Even the change between seasons here is a significant one. The cry "Winter is coming" elicits nearly as much terror here as it does in Game of Thrones Westeros. Outside of Woodberry, the world is changing just as rapidly. The past 3 years have included the beginning of the 5th presidential race of our lifetimes, the historic Iran nuclear deal, and the Wahoos beating up on Duke in basketball. Sorry, Parker. In that same time, we have seen a major Ebola outbreak, the emergence of new terror groups, and 2 of the hottest years in recorded history. Luckily at Woodberry, we have learned to embrace and thrive in the face of change. This adapt or die mentality will certainly help us adjust to college next year and eventually become successful in facing the problems of tomorrow. Woodberry is famous for its traditions, however, and not this theme of change. For good reason, I might add. The traditions of the black tie and the bonfire are perhaps our most famous and tangible traditions, but our traditions of honor and brotherhood really are the 2 pillars of the Woodberry experience. Shakespeare's Jack Falstaff once said, "What is honor? A word. What is in that word honor? Air. Honor is a mere scutcheon, and so ends my catechism." I'd have to disagree with him here. To me, and the Woodberry community, honor is a bit more than a word made up of air, more than a useless emblem for a gravestone. It's the keystone of our community, where we develop closer relationships based on trust. There are few places you will find a lost dollar stay pinned up to a dorm bulletin board for an entire year. Woodberry is one of them, and I know we all appreciate that tradition of honor that allows such a thing to happen. Amici usque adoras, sung passionately in chapel, after football games, and at graduation. The phrase translates to friends to the altar. This one line from our school song perfectly describes the second pillar of the Woodberry experience, the Woodberry brotherhood. This bond is something developed over many shared Saturday morning classes, cookouts by the river, and rainy football practices. It is strengthened by laughs over your roommate sleepwalking into the closet on the first night you met him, William Poole, or a tough loss on the lacrosse field with Boz, my baby bro, and Robbie Grass, my rookie. It's that feeling you get when you're walking down the line, bidding farewell to the sixth formers at senior shake. And the brotherhood is shared not only among students, but with teachers and alums too. I can't tell you how many times I've struck up a conversation with someone I've never seen before because of a Woodberry t-shirt I'm wearing. And I remember this fall meeting a Woodberry alum while touring Quantico, who then spent 10 minutes excitedly explaining to us that he still texts his Woodberry friends every day and is closer to them than anyone else in this world. While our time here at Woodberry together may be coming to an end tomorrow, the friendships we have made never will. Graduation has always been this light at the end of the tunnel, but it's been hard for me to actually believe it would come to pass. Maybe deep down a part of me did not want it to, because I knew it meant parting ways with so many of my best friends. But for the most part, I think I am, along with most of my class, ready to go. I don't mean itching to leave and never ever look back, but what I do mean is that Woodberry has sufficiently prepared us to move on, and we can all feel that the time has come for us to do that. When I was prospecting at Woodberry, I remember meeting up with Coach Gay in the fir tree and talking. I told him how my mom thought I was supposed to come find him under some tree on campus, and how I'd been so turned around by the colossal size of this place during my first visit. He then described to me his time here and how small Woodberry felt by the time he was a senior. Now in the spring of my senior year, I'm starting to understand what Coach Gay meant. He meant that Woodberry is like a pair of shoes. Just as my shoes used to feel a bit tight on my toes as I grew older and got bigger, this campus has begun to feel smaller and smaller as I've grown and matured here, as it has prepared us to leave and move on. And no matter how cool you thought your shoes were, how much you wanted to keep wearing them, or how much you had done in them, there always came a day when you had grown out of them and had to move on. In Paradise Lost, after Adam and Eve's expulsion, John Milton writes, "The world was all before them, where to choose their place of rest." We, the graduating class, now find ourselves much in the same position, going out into the world with many opportunities ahead of us, but leaving this city on a hill, with a golf course, 2 swimming pools, and swimsuit models in every dorm room. I hope that you all will continue to value the traditions of honor and brotherhood as you leave this place, because I think that you will find they serve you well. Furthermore, in a world where polarization seems to be ever more prominent, these values of the Woodberry brotherhood and honor have become increasingly valuable. So it's up to us to go out there and share them with the world. I'm honored and humbled to think that I will graduate from Woodberry with such a great group of guys. Thank you all for being here today, and congratulations to my fellow members of the class of 2016. Thank you.
Thank you, Ford. Before I turn the program over to the dozen and we part ways for the evening, I wanted to take a moment to share with you that yesterday my wife Jennifer and I celebrated our 15th anniversary. She would be the first to tell you that I am notoriously bad about devoting appropriate attention to birthdays or anniversaries. But I do want to take this moment to thank her for all she does for me, for our family, and for Woodberry. My greatest hope for each boy graduating tomorrow is that you'll be blessed like I have been to find a wonderful person with whom you can share your life, your hopes, your fears, the disappointments and difficulties, as well as the moments of great joy and happiness and fulfillment that lie ahead for you. I'm reminded, too, of all of our families here at Woodberry, the spouses who share their husbands and give the boys so much in their advisee groups and in extracurricular activities, the many children who wander to and fro and keep us young here at Woodberry Forest. Finally, I want to share with you that today has been bittersweet for us at the school. Right around noon, 4 distinguished veteran members of the faculty taught their final classes. Please join me in recognizing and celebrating Karen Jordan, Graham McBride, Peter Alekshevitz, and Tom Parker. They have committed their professional lives to the world of education, and we and all that they have taught are forever in their debt. We'll close our Amici night program with selected songs by the Woodberry Forest Dozen. And they will conclude their performance by leading us all in our school song, Amici. Immediately after the program, you are invited to a reception on the lawn behind the Walker Building. It's a great pleasure to introduce Mr. Wallace Hornady and the Woodberry Forest Dozen.
Slow down, you move too fast. Got to make the morning last, just kicking down the cobblestone, looking for fun and feeling groovy. Da-da-da-da-da, feeling groovy. Hello, lamppost, what you knowin'? I've come to watch your flowers growing. Ain't you got no rhymes for me? Looking for fun and feeling groovy. Da-da-da-da-da, feeling groovy. I got no deeds to do, no promises to keep. I'm dappled and drowsy and ready to sleep. Let the morning time drop all its petals on me. Life, I love you, all is groovy. Ba-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Life, I love you, all is groovy. Mr. Andrew Holmes. So, you're up next, is that right? Oh, you're going to start this. We get it almost every night. When that moon gets big and bright, it's a supernatural delight. Everybody was dancing in the moonlight. Everybody here is out of sight. They don't bark and they don't bite. They keep things loose, they keep things light. Everybody was dancing in the moonlight. Dancing in the moonlight. Everybody's feeling warm and bright. It's such a fine and natural sight. Everybody's dancing in the moonlight. We like our fun and we never fight. Or you can dance and stay uptight. It's a supernatural delight. Everybody was dancing in the moonlight. Dancing in the moonlight. Everybody's feeling warm and bright. It's such a fine and natural sight. Everybody's dancing in the moonlight. Well, they were dancing, well, all night long, 'cause we get it almost every night. When that moon gets big and bright, it's a supernatural delight. Everybody was dancing in the moonlight.
Brian Grady, in case you didn't catch his name before. These songs that we're singing for you, that they are singing for you this evening, were all arranged by this year's dozen, and usually led by the arrangement led by the soloist, who will be Bo Pettigrew next.
I lost my fear in your arms. I lost my tears in your car. I lost myself in your candlelit eyes, and all my love in your yard. Baby, would you leave me if you knew that I was making it up? And underneath the love you gotta wonder, am I giving you up? No way am I. It goes on. Violent is the motion in my heart and in my body and mind. And silent is the feeling that I lost, but I'm determined to find. And
love is but an ocean, unrealistic notion, but I cling to her devotion, and I let it pull me down to the floor. It goes, I won't, I won't, I won't, I won't. It goes, I won't, I won't, I won't, I won't. It goes, I won't, I won't, goes, I won't, I won't, I won't. I found my wheel in your car. I caught my tears in your arms. I found myself on that poor county drive, and all my love in your guard. Baby, would you leave me if you knew that I was making it up? And underneath the love you gotta wonder, am I giving you up? No way am I. It goes, I won't, I won't, I won't, I won't. It goes, I won't, I won't, I won't, I won't. It goes, I won't, I won't. It goes, I won't, I won't, I won't.
Of all the money that e'er I have,
I spent it in good company.
and all the harm I've ever done,
Alas, it was to none but me. And all I've done for want of wit,
to me how I can't go. So
fill to me the parting glass. Good night and joy be to you all. So fill to me the parting glass, and drink a health whate'er befalls, and gently rise and softly call, good night and joy be to you all. Of all the comrades that e'er I had, the sorry for my going away, and all the sweethearts that e'er I had, they wished me one more day to stay. But since it fell into my lot that I should rise and you should not, I gently rise and softly call, good night and joy be to you all. Fill to me the parting glass, and drink a health whate'er befalls, and gently rise and softly call, good night and joy be to you all.
Please stand for the singing of Amici.
shall ne'er be broken, formed at Woodberry. Far surpassing wealth unspoken, sealed by friendship's tie. Amici usque ad arras, deep graven on each heart, shall be found unwavering true when we from life shall part.
What do you want to do?
Thank you to the dozen and to everyone here. Hope everyone has a great night, and we'll come again together tomorrow to celebrate graduation. Have a great night.